In this session, you'll complete your edit and you'll look at an animated title with drop zones. You'll look at adding music and cutting the clips to match the beat. We'll now fully complete the edit. We'll add music. We will add a title generator to give a title with some animated effects that are built in. We will use some third-party plugins so you see how they are available. We'll use one that is a free download and others that you may wish to purchase. And we'll finally put in a credit scroll using a free plugin from FX Factory. So let's start. We're going to bring in a title header to start with, and we will use one that is part of your Final Cut package, and it's called Tribute, and it's in the title generators. And if we look down here, you will see Tribute. And the one that we're going to use is called the Push. We're going to select that and drag it to the beginning of our clip. Now you'll notice that the music or the current wave sounds have started after this, but it's not a problem. We can add or increase those as we want to. So there's the generator. What it needs, if we look up here in the inspector, is it has a drop zone wanting us to put a clip into that drop zone. So we select on the drop zone and click the clip that we want to go in there. And the best one in this situation is the very first clip. So we select that clip and we see that's generally what it's going to look like there. We can press the apply clip, and if we just play that from the start, we can see what's going to happen. And then it's going to move into that first clip, so it sort of repeats itself there. It has a common theme and then moves through the clip here. This is silver, and everything else that we're looking at is an aquily greeny bluey color. And if we look up here in the inspector, we can see that we can select different colors, and there's aqua green. How appropriate. And if we look there, there's the color that we've selected, and it sort of fits with the colors that we're looking at. If you wanted to take this further, you could select on the clip, come to the video tab and go to your color corrections, and selecting color, you can affect that color there. But when you affect that color, notice that you also affect the video behind. Just change it a little to be somewhere closer to the colors that you're looking for. Because that then, when this changes now and you come into the next clip, if you've dramatically changed the color, now the clip's gone mauvey color, when you move through here into the actual clip, it's going to change color. You may like that, of course. That's up to you. That's a personal preference. So using the curly arrow, I can take that back to what it was, and perhaps we will just change the dark or the blacks, and we'll change that to a color more appropriate to the sea. So perhaps there. And so when we come through that now, it's more appropriate to that color of the sea there. Because this is a title, we can double click on the title tab. Coming back to our text, we can change that, and we can call that Sydney Harbour. And it's too big, so we can reduce the size. You can also change the color, change the gradients of that color, or select a new color. Gradients I quite like. And the subtitle here is double clickable as well, and we could put in there 18 footers. And maybe make that a little bigger, and maybe move it further down, so that when we play this now, There it is playing there, coming through. So quite nice intro. Now you may want to put a transition in at this point, just to transition that sharp movement. So we could put in a cross dissolve at that point. And so when it comes through, it just dissolves. I don't like that particularly. So clicking on this here, selecting our transitions, looking at the blurs, and we'll use a simple blur, and this should do it well. It's a little bit too short, so let's extend the length of that blur a little. Now when we play this, it's completely silent. So what we need is some background music while the title is playing. So if we look up here in our browser, we see that we've got a track called Intro. And if we click on that and come to the audio here, we can reduce the audio to a reasonable level, and we can drag that and bring it down below the title and play. And we'll just fade that out at about this point here. So we will use the Command B to cut. Click that there, and at the end of this clip now we can see we've got a fade out, and we may make that by right clicking and S curve so that it fades out to a, and just extend it a little bit, shorten that. Now we need to bring in some other music for the total clip. So using Command Z now, that's brought the whole clip into the timeline so I can see everything. And looking up here, maybe this is the music we'll use for our background music. It's obviously far too loud there, so we can reduce the volume down significantly. And let's bring that in and see how it works. So we will start that about here and just fade it in for the moment. Let's see how that works. So it's still somewhat too loud. Let's bring it down to 18. We could zoom into this area. We can come to this tab here and increase the height. We will come to the edge here and take this up so that we've got more timeline to play with, more to look at. And because we want this closer to the video, we can click on it and drag it up, and it pops into that position. It's now closer to the video, and we can see here that there are beat marks. Now we may, if we like, match the changes or the edits in the video to those beat marks. So since it's coming in at this point, we've got a beat mark here, and it just so happens that that beat mark is right on a change to the video already. By clicking on the clip and making sure the playhead is in that position, we can put a marker in there, and we've now got another beat mark here. So let's move the playhead to that part and press a marker there, and so we might want to move this clip to that. So if we look now, do we want that one to play longer or this one to play longer? So I think that it's a good point to go between the two, so we can make use of the trim tool, and that's just using the T key. You can see that the trim tool marker is there, and by clicking on this point now, we'll roll between those two edits, and when it meets the marker you can see the line goes yellow. So that scene there is changing on the beat. Let's move further down here, pressing the A key to go back to the select tool. We've got another beat here. We've got another beat there. So let's put this one in here, and we will make that change go there. So we need to shorten this one a little. There's a beat at that point, so we're going to shorten that one to there, and this is the next beat that we want to come to, so putting the marker on it, come to that one there, and we've got another beat here. So let's take this clip to that point, and we've got another marker here, so take the clip to that point, and another one here to that point, and another one there, so take that one to that point, another one here, maybe we use this beat. If you find that your playhead is jumping because snapping is turned on, you can hold down the N key, and while you hold down the N key, the playhead will not snap. When you release the M key, it then goes back to snapping. And finally, we've got one down here. This is the last one we'll do this with. So we'll take this clip, and again we'll trim it. I've used the T key, and we're going to trim that clip to that point there. So now that we've got that, let's just play through, and we'll see that our edits will change on the beat. So just returning that to its normal size. So you get the idea. So that's how we've added the music. Let's be using the Shift Z key, return to fit in window. We've got more music there when we need, so we can reduce that and fade it out at the end. We've got the ocean noise and the music playing. So going through another beat marker here. Now, we need to look at reducing some of the volume for this clip here, because this is the one that is the finish line. And if we remember there was some commentary. So let's increase the size by Command plus, and we're going to expand the audio on this so that we can drag it a little bit either side of each clip. We will fade it out at the end, but when do we want it to actually come in? So we might just reduce that a little further because it's still too loud. So we really want it to start to fade in about here. Holding the Option key down, put a keyframe rather, in there, another keyframe in here, reduce this one, and then gradually fade up. We need to do the same sort of thing with the music. We need to reduce the music over that time. So putting in 4 keyframes, we can reduce the music. Perhaps mixing that a little better. We'll make this an S curve. No, we won't. We'll make it right-clicking, make it a curve. And we might just reduce some of the water noise at the same time by dropping that down. So now when we play it through, and let's bring the music up a little bit more. We'll extend that a little bit there. We won't bring this down so early to mix them in better. And now play it. We've got a couple of more things that we can add. Let's make some change to this fade out. And what we'll do is that we'll use a different transition for that. We're going to use the same theme transition. That's the transition for tribute. And we're going to bring that in there and pop it in. We know that we can change that to aqua. And we need to put an image in there. So clicking on that and clicking on the clip to follow, saying apply, and then playing through that, we can see that the finish line Saturday, it needs to move up a little bit. So selecting on that, moving it up so that it just sits above the rectangle, finish line Saturday. So that's our completed edit.